Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy AJ Trip, and in honor of Super Bowl 54 and the 100th season of the National Football League, I'm here to give you my favorite 10 players of all time in the National Football League. So these are 10 players that I enjoyed watching throughout throughout their careers. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it with number 10. Number 10 is Michael Vick, and I can't tell you how much Uh, it was good to watch Michael Vick throughout his career. I enjoyed him when he was in Atlanta, and he would make all of those great moves and those great plays. Obviously, the main one is the overtime victory against Minnesota when he was when he went in there and he made that long run and walked off against the Minnesota Vikings in overtime. And then there was all of the stuff I believe it was that same season that he took the Green Bay Packers in. He took the Minnesota. Damn, he took the Atlanta Falcons into Green Bay, and he handed Green Bay their first loss in Green Bay in the playoffs. It was the first time they had ever lost at home in the playoffs, and so that was such a fun game to watch. And he overtime he was really great. He really was. There's a 30 for 30 that is that's part one came out last night at the time of the recording, and I didn't see it. I got a DVR. I want to watch it because his stuff was incredible. When he, what he would do on that field, it was amazing and it was fantastic with his legs. But he didn't work hard enough on his passing game, and that was the one that was the thing that was you know kind of thing. Um, all the thing I remember once after he came back from his jail time, and he went with Philadelphia, and he had that season. I believe it was 2010. He had that season where he was doing great things, and everything like that. He had did a sit down interview with Steve Mariucci, and he talked about the fact that they gave him everything. They gave him everything to do, and he didn't do it. He just put it in his thing and went on by his way. He never watched tapes. He never looked at film. He never did any of that, and that's why he wasn't making it as a quarterback. Um, yeah, so there was a lot of things going on with Michael Vick, but just as a talent, he was extremely fun to watch. He was you always knew you were gonna see something exciting, and it was he was a talent. He's probably a top three talent of all time at the quarterback position because not only could he run, but he had a strong arm. He had a very strong arm, and if he just would if he would have worked on his game, he I don't know if he still be playing now because he did take a lot of hits, but you know, he would maybe right now what we were talking about right now is him making the Hall of Fame at some point. And so, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But anyway, that does not matter. He's my one of my favorites to watch when it comes to professional football in the National Football League. Number 10 of my favorite NFL players of all time, Michael Vick. Number 9, Patrick Mahomes. In his short, brief time in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes has just become one of my favorite players because of just the stuff he's able to do with his arms, with his legs, with his just everything, and what he's done recently with the NFC Championship games, and the NFC Championship game, the AFC Championship games and the AFC Divisional Playoffs this past season, against the Titans, against the Texans, coming back from double-digit deficits, and just to completely and utterly destroy the teams. Oh, it's just amazing, and it's just so fun to watch. And I think also as a Bears fan, it hurts a little bit more knowing that our quarterback is Mitch Trubisky, and we could have had Patrick Mahomes, but it's frustrating. But he is couple years he has shown the ability to just win, and and he does it in spectacular fashion as well. With some of the throws he makes and the moves he does, just fantastic. So, without question, he's already become one of my favorite players to watch. Number 9, Patrick Mahomes. Number 8 is Randall Cunningham. He was the original before Michael Vick. He was the elusive quarterback who could do it all. And there were times when he did do it all. He punted, he ran, he kicked, he did all. He did it all. He did it with his arm, he did it with his leg. And then the thing was that after a couple years out of the league, he came back and was backing up in Minnesota. The quarterback got hurt, and he came in and he played brilliantly with Chris Carter and Randy Moss' first rookie year. Was the MVP of the league. It was unreal what happened with Randall Cunningham, and just off the chain. And Randall Cunningham was just fantastic. There's all and Mike. I talked about Michael Vick and his and his moment when was that moment against Minnesota and Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Randall Cunningham moment was when the Eagles were facing the Giants on Monday Night Football, and he made a play where he stayed on his feet after getting his knees taken out and threw a touchdown pass. It was incredible. It was truly amazing what was going on with the Eagles and Randall Cunningham, and without question, I believe maybe one of the greatest athletes. Again at that position. I talked about Michael Vick being top 3. I think Randall was top 5. So it's just amazing how his legacy stands the test of time, and that's why he was one of my favorites to watch. Number 8, Randall Cunningham. Number 7, Randy Moss. It was just it was fantastic to see Randy Moss come in and what he was doing. He was changing the game because there wasn't too many. There were big receivers, but it seems like that when it came to Randy Moss is the one that started the reign of having the big receiver just go down the field. He would jump over the defensive backs because at that time defensive backs were 5'10", 5'11". They weren't too tall. And Randy Moss here there was a 6'4", and he was just streaking, running like a deer, and then he would just wait for Randall Cunningham or anybody to jump and throw the jump ball, and he'd jump up and he'd catch it. And it was fantastic. And he set the league on fire. And he was just such a pleasure to watch. And he had so much fun during his career. And again, as a Bears fan, with him being in the division, it was tough to watch him, him and Chris Carter and everybody like that, like take the Bears. I just take him for granted. But he was truly amazing. So without question, one of the all-time greats to ever do it. He's probably if he didn't have a stocky time with the Raiders, and maybe if he had played a couple more years longer, and maybe won another couple Super Bowls or something like that, and maybe won at least one Super Bowl, we would be talking about him as maybe the greatest wide receiver of all time. I know it's not gonna be, you're not gonna catch Jerry Rice's stats and anything like that. No receiver. Well, I'm not gonna can't say no receiver because the way they pass the ball, there might be some receiver that will play long enough and be productive long enough to catch Jerry Rice in all of those categories. But it's not about stats. It's about the eye test, and he was much more talented than Jerry Rice. And I think if he would have kept doing what he was doing in Oakland, or if he would have played some longer years and done some of the other stuff that he was doing, we would have seen him be like one of the best. There could have been a complete argument at least for him being the greatest wide receiver of all time. So without question, one of my favorite all-time players to ever watch. Number 7, Randy Moss. Number 6, LaDainian Tomlinson. He was one of the only running backs that I ever considered to be on the par with Walter Payton. I thought that if he continued on, at one point, I think it was like 2006, 2007, I thought that if he continued on doing the things that he was doing, that he would maybe end up being the greatest of all time. That did not come to pass. He went to he had some injuries slowed him down. Then he went to the Jets, and he wasn't a mainstay there. He was more of a setting two back system there. But he was so fun to watch, and he was so great. He was a receiving out of the backfield. He was a running back. He even threw passes. He did it all. But Deion Tomlinson was a fantastic running back, and I loved watching him. I loved seeing. When San Diego was on, I said, "Yeah, we're gonna see the LT, the offensive LT," and it was spectacular. It really was. Truly, it's a joy to watch, and he's number 6 on my list of my favorite NFL players of all time. Number 5 is Devin Hester. Oh, maybe the most exciting player in the history of the National Football League. You knew that once you kicked off the ball, it was over. And it was just, it was something so real and something so joyous to watch Devin Hester kick and return kicks and punts, and he was spectacular. And that's why he is going to the Hall of Fame, despite what some people may want, despite the fact what some people may say about him not having a real position. He was the greatest kick returner of all time. He did it better than no one ever did. And that's why he's going directly into the Hall of Fame. And it was such a pleasure to watch him do what he did for so long. And that's why for me, he was one of my all-time favorites. He's top 5 of my favorite players to watch of all time, without question. And that's not yet. He is a Chicago, Bear, and I'm a Chicago boy, so that means a lot more to me when it comes to my favorite list. Number 5, Devin Hester. Number 4, Brian Urlacher. Now I have a video that I did way back the day where I talked about why Brian Urlacher was better than Ray Lewis. And to me, that is without a question. He is way better than Ray Lewis. Just because Ray Lewis can do his dance and strut his stuff and all that stuff, and he was more passionate, didn't make him better. Urlacher was better. And today, with the Hall of Fame announcements going to happen later on tonight, I was checking Twitter, and they was talking about, Jack Thomas being better than Urlacher. Hell no. It was Brian Urlacher. He's the greatest middle linebacker of all time. Well, no, I can't say all time because I don't know if he was better than Buckus. So he would probably be number 2. And Buckus would be 1. But Brian Urlacher was great. He was so fun to watch. Nobody before and nobody since. Luke Kuechly has come close. But nobody before and since had the speed to run sideline to sideline, to jump back into coverage and pick balls off and do everything. And he was a fantastic player. And without question, the best linebacker of his generation. There's no doubt about that. It's not Ray Lewis. It's not Zach Thomas. It's not anybody else. It is Brian Urlacher. And he was one of my favorite all-time players to watch play. And that's why he's number 4 on my list of my favorite NFL players of all time. Number 3, Peyton Manning. Now, I said this. I did a video on this one as well. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. Not Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the greatest winner, but he's the greatest quarterback of all time. And that's without question. It's a point-blank period in the discussion. Which, by the way, I should bring that back someday. I have to find something that is a point-blank period in the discussion and do a video for you guys. Anyway, it is just absolutely astonishing the stuff that he was able to do. His machinations up and down the line of scrimmage, and his brain and what he used to play, and it was incredible. Just the way he went up and down, and he was just so fun to watch. And then he was the first one to break the record, a touchdown passing record for Dan Marino, and and it was just fantastic. And he was such a joy to watch, and it did hurt to see him lose that Super Bowl against Seattle. Um, but and even though he got a second one, he was more of the passenger than he was, the star. So all of that does hurt to see that happen for Peyton, but he is still in my eyes, and really, it's people base it on rings, but it's not even close. It's all about the eye test, and without question, Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback of all time, and on my list, he's number 3 of my favorite NFL players to watch, and just that's incredible. Peyton Manning. Number 2, Deion Sanders. Man, it he was some of my he was just amazing. He really was, and he was flashy. He was prime time. And you also got to show some love, give some love to Tom Jackson and Chris Berman, who on NFL prime time would do the when they would recap the scores and everything, and they would talk about Deion, and if Deion did something, he picked it off, or if he was returning kicks or something like that, they would go prime, prime time, and it was just an incredible way to go, and it was so fun, so awesome, and just really, really the greatest defensive back to ever do it, and just so amazing. The flash, the style, everything. This is my house, and this is always gonna be my house. That's incredible. So without question, I think the number 2 guy on my list of my favorite NFL players of all time, it's got to be Deion Sanders. And my favorite all-time NFL player, Walter Payton. When I was younger, I wanted to be Walter. I wanted to be the running back for the Chicago Bears. I wanted to high step, and I wanted to, dive over the goal line for a touchdown. And I wanted to be him. I wanted to be sweetness. And things didn't turn out the way it wanted to be when it comes to my football life, my football, everything like that. But I'll never forget the way it is to watch him, and the things that he did, and everything that goes along with being, Walter Payton, and watching him and growing up, and it was just fantastic. All of it so was, and in '99 when he died, um, the way we're seeing Los Angeles mourn the loss of Kobe Bryant is the way Chicago mourned the loss of Walter. And it took weeks for everybody to get over it, because he was an icon. He was even though we had Michael and all the stuff, and Michael brought us 6 championships and everything like that. The Bears are the number 1 team, and the number 1 player in the history of the franchise, Walter Payton, had just passed away, and it was tough that day. It's tough now remembering what it is, and I remember the ceremony they had a few days later. Um, the Bears were going to play the Green Bay Packers that Sunday, and that Sunday the Bears beat the Green Bay Packers, and they beat them by Brian Robinson blocking a field goal, and there were many people who said that day that Walter put Brian Robinson up on his shoulders, and helped he helped the Bears block that kick for him, and so And there was a lot of things going on that day too. There were so many people who wanted to, do things for Walter, and that's one of the things that the NFL needs to be more about because as we've seen this past week, a lot of people have changed their numbers. They're for Kobe, they're worn 8 or 24 in honor of Kobe, and Marshall Faulk wanted that Sunday to wear 34. He wanted to wear 34 for Walter, and the NFL wouldn't let him. Let him, and and a lot of those things are just but that's neither here nor there. Just an awesome, tremendous football player, the greatest running back in the NFL history. There's no doubt about it. That's another point blank period in the discussion piece for you. And yes, it is just truly amazing to see what Walter has done. And now they in that year they named the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. They named it after Walter Payton, and every year since then people get it, and people are they're honored to get it because it's what you've done outside of the stadium, not inside the stadium. And um, somebody tonight in NFL Honors will be named the Walter Payton Man of the Year for 2019-2020. And it's still an honor for everybody to be nominated, one per team. And we'll see who wins it tonight and honors Walter Payton's legacy. And without question, all of that spun it together makes it so that he is my favorite player in NFL history. All right, y'all, that is it. That is my list for the top 10, my top 10 favorite NFL players of all time. Make sure you post yours down below in the comment section. Who are your favorite players of all time? You know, who are guys that you love to watch? Younger and now and anything like that. So make sure you do all of that down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, I have a Patreon now. Patreon.com/AJTrip. Go there. There are 3 tiers. $1 tier, $10 tier, $25 tier. After 100 Patreon sign up, I'm gonna open up the field to suggestions, and we're gonna be also doing doing things where we be putting a Patreon shout outs at the end of the video. So let me know what you guys, if you guys want to do that, you go ahead, patreon.com/AJTrip and sign up. And that's for the $10 and $25 tiers. $1 tiers, you don't get anything. You just feel the need to support me with something, and that's all you need to do is just you know just support me, and it's all good. And it's and even with that $1, it's appreciative. It's so much appreciative. So thank you guys so much. It is your boy AJ Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.